This is Simplified Mathematics. Today, we will learn how to add and subtract fractions. In previous video, we learned that fraction usually contains two parts, the upper part, which is called numerator, and the lower part, which is called denominator. Many times, the upper part is smaller than the lower one, for example, in 1/4 or 3/5. But sometimes the upper part can be larger than the lower one, for example, in 11/8 or 21/10. In the next step, we will learn how to add, subtract, multiply, and divide fractions. And for this video, we will learn how to add and subtract. In order to add or subtract fractions, we will follow these two simple steps. First, we will convert the lower numbers into the same number. And once we get that, we will add or subtract only the upper numbers. Let's see what I mean by that. Let's say we have 1/3 plus 7/6. The first step is to convert the lower numbers into the same number. And here we have 3 and 6. 3 can be converted to 6 pretty easily by multiplying by 2. So we will convert all the lower numbers into 6, and we will get, for the first term, 3 has to multiply 2. So we will multiply the top part with 2 as well. And then plus 6 is already there, so we don't need to multiply anything. And now we will get 2/6 plus 7/6. The next step is to add or subtract only the upper numbers. And we will get 9/6. And that can be simplified to 3/2. And that is the answer. Now let's try 1/3 plus 7/6 minus 29/30. Again, the first step is to convert the lower numbers into the same number. And here we have 3, 6, and 30. We can convert 3 into 30 pretty easily by multiplying by 10. And we can also convert 6 into 30 pretty easily by multiplying by 5. So we will convert all the lower numbers into 30, and we will get, for the first term, 3 has to multiply 10. So we have to multiply the upper part by 10 as well. Plus, for the second term, 6 has to multiply 5. So we have to multiply the top part by 5 as well. And then for the third term, 30 is already there, so we don't need to multiply with anything. And we will get 10/30 plus 35/30 minus 29/30. And for the second step, we will add or subtract only the upper numbers. And we will get 16/30. And that can be simplified to 8/15. And that is the answer. In some cases, we cannot easily convert the lower numbers into the same number because they are not multiples of each other. Like in an example here, 2/3 plus 4/5 plus 5/6. The lower numbers, 3, 5, and 6, cannot be quickly converted into the same number. Well, we can see that we can convert 3 into 6 easily by multiplying by 2. But how about 5 to 6? That can be a problem. When that happens, we will calculate the least common multiple from all the lower numbers and use that at the end. And once we convert all the lower numbers into the least common multiple, we can then add or subtract the upper numbers. So let's try to work on the example we have here. We have 2 over 3 plus 4 over 5 plus 5 over 6. So we will convert the lower numbers 3, 5, and 6 into the least common multiple. First, we will write them down and factor them into prime numbers. For 3, it will be equal to 3. For 5, it will be equal to 5. And for 6, it will be equal to 2 times 3. Next, we will look for the repeats, and there's only one here, which is 3. So the LCM, or the least common multiple, gonna be equal to the repeats, which is 3, times the leftovers, which is 5 and 2, and that's gonna be equal to 30. And now we can convert the lower numbers into the least common multiple, and we will get, for the first term, it is 3 multiplied by 10 in order to be converted to 30, so the upper part has to multiply 10 as well. Plus, for the second term, 5 has to multiply 6 to be converted to 30, and the upper part had to multiply 6 as well. And then plus the third term, 6 has to multiply 5 in order to be converted to 30. So the top part has to multiply 5 as well. And we will get 20 over 30 plus 24 over 30 plus 25 over 30. And the next step is try to add or subtract only the upper numbers, and we will get 69 over 30, and that can be converted to or simplified into 23 over 10, and that is the answer. Let's try one more example. This time we have 6 over 15 plus 5 over 6 minus 19 over 18. The first step is try to convert all the lower numbers into the same number. And by quick glance, that cannot be done quickly, because they're not all multiples of each other. Well, we can convert 6 into 18 pretty easily by multiplying by 3. However, we cannot convert 15 into 18 that easily, and that can be a problem. So we have to calculate the least common multiple from all these lower numbers, 15, 6, and 18. Let's try that. For 15, it is 3 times 5, and for 6, it is 2 times 3, and for 18, it is 2 times 3 times 3. So first we will try to find the repeats in all three of them, and we can find one over here, 3. And then we will find the repeats in two of them, and we can find it here, 2. So the LCM is gonna be equal to the repeats 3 multiply the repeats 2, and then multiply the leftover, which is 5, and another leftover, which is 3, and we will get 90 over here. So we will try to convert all the lower numbers into 90, and we will get, for the first term, it is 15 has to multiply 6 in order to be converted to 90. So the top part has to multiply 6 as well. Plus the second term, 6 has to multiply 15 in order to be converted to 90. So the top part has to multiply 15 as well. And then minus the third term, 18 has to multiply 5 in order to be converted to 90. So the top part has to multiply 5 as well. And we will get 36 over 90 plus 75 over 90 minus 95 over 90. And now we can add or subtract only the upper numbers, and we will get 16 over 90. And that can be simplified to 8 over 45. And that is the answer. One thing I want to really emphasize: when we add or subtract fractions, please do not split the lower numbers. We may split the upper part, but not the lower part. Let's see what I mean by that. For example, we have 5 plus 20 over 25. Normally we can add them up to get 25 over 25, which is equal to 1. And if we want to split them into 5 over 25 plus 20 over 25, it is perfectly fine to do, because we are now splitting the upper numbers. And that will be equal to 1 over 5 plus 4 over 5, which is equal to 5 over 5 or 1. So the results are exactly the same. But when we have 25 over 5 plus 20, normally we can also add them up, and we will get 25 over 25, which is equal to 1. But we may not split them into 25 over 5 plus 25 over 20, because right now we are splitting the lower numbers, and we cannot do that. It will give us the wrong result. Well, we can try taking a look. So let's say 25 over 5 gonna give us 5, and then 25 over 20 is gonna be 5 over 4, which is gonna be about 1.25. So the answer here is gonna be 6.25, which is wrong. It's not 1. So please do not split the lower numbers when you add or subtract fractions. Well, let's try taking a look at one more example. This time we have 6 plus 30 divided by 42. Add them up, and we will get 36 over 42, which is 6 over 7. And of course, we can split them into 6 over 42 plus 30 over 42. And that is equal to 1 over 7 plus 5 over 7, which is 6 over 7. So the results are the same. But for 36 over 12 plus 30, normally we will just add them up, and we will get 36 over 42, and that is going to be 6 over 7. But we may not split them into 36 over 12 plus 36 over 30. This is the splitting of the lower numbers, and we cannot do that. The result will not be the same. Well, we can try taking a look. This gonna be 36 over 12 gonna give us 3. And this gonna be 6 over 5, which is about 1.2. So the answer here is gonna be 4.2, which is totally not 6 over 7. 6 over 7 is actually about 0.86. So again, when we add or subtract fractions, please do not split the lower numbers. Alright, let's try summarize what we learned so far. In this video, we learned how to add and subtract fractions by following the two simple steps. First, we will convert the lower numbers into the same number, or into their least common multiple. and then we can add or subtract only the upper numbers. And again, please do not split the lower numbers when we add or subtract fractions. Try to practice a little bit more. It's actually not difficult at all once you understand the concept.